Hello and welcome to episode number 26.
Yeah, it's 26.
26 of the Selection Saturday College Football Podcast. I might have said off-season podcast last time I had it. I honestly don't remember. But, estamos aquí. We are here.
We're here. We're present.
We need to talk. We need to talk ad nauseum about literally everything today.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of going-ons is the best part.
Yes, there's a lot going on, y'all. Starting with this AP poll that you see on your wonderful screen. It has released. It's not much different from the coaches poll that we talked about last week. If you want thoughts about the coaches poll or the AP poll, you'll find basically all you need in the
last video.
week.
Yeah, last week's podcast.
Yeah. So instead, I thought I'd bring up a few brain teasers for the two of us. Of course, Clemson's out. Louisville is in for the AP poll, regarding as opposed to the coaches poll. So that's a little nugget. Anyways, the following teams have AP poll droughts.
Okay.
Rutgers has missed 218 consecutive. Their last appearance was in 2012. WVU, 117 polls missed, last in 2019. Same with Stanford and Maryland and Cal, all appeared last in 2019. Northwestern, last appeared in 2020. Virginia Tech and Purdue last appeared in 2021. And then Michigan State and Arkansas last appeared in 2022. My question for you, which team breaks their streak first?
Well, that's actually a very good question.
If you want, you can look at the teams.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be Rutgers because
Yeah,
you've already done your Rutgers stuff.
yeah, we'll get to Rutgers next week.
Stanford, no.
Yeah, absolutely no Stanford. I don't think Maryland does.
I don't think Maryland does it. I don't think Cal does it.
I think Cal has
a shot, but
I think Northwestern's a sneaky chance.
I think Tech may have a chance.
VT's a sneaky chance at any point in the season, really, because they've got that schedule. Purdue, no. Michigan State, sure.
I think Arkansas has
absolutely.
Actually, we'll get to. I'll get to that. And WVU, maybe?
WVU is my pick.
I think WVU...
The team that will break out first, I think they do it early this year.
I think out of all of those teams, WVU is the ones to do it first, honestly. Because
you look at the schedule, what they do have a pit maxing schedule here. Coastal, that's a win. UT Martin, that's a win. UVA is a kind of a toss-up. They do have to travel on that one. I do have that as a loss. But then they play Oklahoma State. They host Oklahoma State.
Oh, wow.
Who's still a team getting used to Power 4 ball. I think this might be their first conference game. So this might be a growing pains game for Oklahoma State. West Virginia gets that one at home. On the road against Iowa State, who's not going to be a good team this year. And then week 6, they're heading into it 5-1 with a loss to UVA, last season's regular season ACC champs. And if they beat Arizona like I think they can, and then week 7 just continue to bolster that, they're 6-1 for me in week 7.
Let's see, I had them being 6-1 by week 7.
And of course, losing their next 5 games to TCU, Texas Tech, Kansas, Houston, and Utah. So, it's still... I think they break it this season, but they're not going to be like...
They're not going to hold on to it the whole season.
No, not at all.
But they're going to break it.
They're going to break it. So that's my pick. Would you say WVU is also yours, or do you want to go with another team?
No, I agree with that. I actually have them going 7-0 and then losing the last 5. But
okay.
So especially with that hot of a start, I would not be surprised seeing them out of the teams on that list break out and be the first to make the AP poll. I wouldn't be surprised to see 2 teams make the AP poll out of that group, but I think West Virginia is the first to do it.
Oh, this guy's doing. All right.
Cool.
So my second brain teaser. You might want to pull up the actual poll for this one.
I do have that up.
Okay. Last season, 11 teams in the top 25 preseason poll ended the season unranked, including 2 teams in the top 5 and 7 in the top 15.
7 top 15 teams ended the season unranked?
Yes. Pick 12 this year, or pick 11 this year that could do the very same. Out of the top 25,
that could end
which
unranked.
11 are going to end unranked.
Tennessee,
Okay, I agree on that one.
SMU.
I think
maybe.
SMU keeps it.
Let me see how I had SMU doing. Oh yeah, never mind. SMU will keep it.
I say Oregon loses it.
I think. I don't. What conference is this team in again? Louisville loses it.
I think they keep it. I think Mizzou loses theirs.
I think Mizzou loses theirs. Yeah.
I feel like Utah loses theirs. So let's see. We won't do a top 12 because that's gonna be very hard to keep track of for everyone. So I'll say Ohio State's gonna keep it. Oregon, I think is gonna lose it. Georgia's gonna keep it. Notre Dame's gonna keep it. Texas is gonna keep it. Indiana, I think they keep it. Miami's gonna lose theirs. A&M's gonna keep it. Ole Miss is gonna keep it. Oklahoma's gonna keep it. LSU's falling out again. Texas Tech's gonna keep it. Bama's gonna lose theirs. USC's gonna lose theirs. BYU keeps. Michigan keeps. I think Washington falls out. They're not gonna be a bad team, but I don't think they're gonna be top 25 good. Penn State's gonna lose theirs. Tennessee's gonna lose theirs. Utah, Mizzou. I don't know how many that was.
I mean, that was all 25. So.
I did not say all 25.
Well, I think the teams that keep it are Ohio State, Oregon, Georgia, Notre Dame, Texas. Indiana, I think, barely keeps it. I think they hold on somewhere in the top 25. I don't think Miami keeps it. I think Texas A&M keeps it. Ole Miss, Oklahoma. I think LSU keeps it, actually. Okay. I think LSU stays a top 25 team. I believe Texas Tech will. Alabama... I don't think Alabama will.
Okay.
I think BYU will. I don't... Maybe with USC. I don't know. I haven't gotten that far yet. Michigan's also a maybe. Washington, I don't think stays. Penn State... I don't think so, but I think they're like right outside. They're a bubble, in my opinion. SMU keeps it. Tennessee, no. Utah, yes. Iowa, maybe. Houston,
I think there's going to be in that like
Houston,
level
yes, and then Louisville and Missouri, no, but they're like right on the bubble.
Okay. That's all the AP poll talk we'll have for you this week. Of course, you want more. Last week's episode will be a little bit more in depth. But we have an SEC to preview.
Oh, goodness.
Alabama, Bama.
Roll Tide, as they like to say down south.
Embarrassing end to their season against the eventual Natty champs Indiana in the playoffs last year. Ty Simpson is gone, and completion percentage merchanting for the Los Angeles Rams in the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? This QB situation has not been settled yet. That's kind of worrying. I mean, Ty Simpson, I think, also won a QB battle last year. But he was also Ty Simpson, and I think I like Ty Simpson more than I did Austin Mack and Keelan Russell.
Mm-hmm.
I think both of them are definitely not Alabama-level quarterbacks that I'd want at the helm of a Saban. I guess like a Saban offense, it could be like covered, not a DeBoer offense.
No.
Mack's been under DeBoer for longer, but Keelan Russell is a former 5-star with upside, so who knows who's going to win that one. I think people are leaning towards Russell. I think I'd lean towards Mack. So,
really,
he's just been under DeBoer for longer, and through the decisions we've seen over the past couple of days, a lot of it has just been the experience. And while neither of them have actual experience, Austin Mack is the senior. So, last year's rushing attack was pretty much non-existent, and I'm not seeing a whole lot to be excited about, especially with Jan Miller gone. His replacements are largely going to be the expected top rushers here. So, like the RB2 of last year, RB3.
Mm-hmm.
They also get a 5-star in EJ Crowell, who's going to be someone to look out for. But everyone's getting hurt in camp. It's not good for Alabama. Wide receivers are not looking fantastic either. Ryan Coleman Williams is a spinny catch merchant. Noah Rogers got injured in the A-Day game, so he's not going to play. So there's not really a top-tier pass catcher on this roster, in my opinion. There's like some guys who could break out, maybe, but they also need good quarterback play, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a guy I'd like to highlight here is Sedarian Morgan, nicknamed the Gulf of Mexico. So,
do you know why he's the nickname, or do you just know that he is the nickname?
One of the quarterbacks, I think, named him that.
Wow.
So,
I really wonder where that came from.
I can't even imagine. And the O-line loses most starters and has to create a patchwork O-line in the SEC. Yikes!
Yeah, I have my QB1 being Kellen Russell. Obviously, neither of them really have a whole lot of experience. He really only got snaps against UL Monroe last year, which...
That was like 71-0.
Yeah, it was just a beat down on UL Monroe. It could really go either way. I was really wondering. I was like between it and what sucks is they're the first team to write about, so it's like you're stuck on the first team. But other than that, nothing really about the quarterbacks. Daniel Hill looks to be the running back one this upcoming season. Obviously,
I think he was running back 1 or 2.
Yeah, he looks to be running back one. He backed up last season. He had a decent year. Should hopefully for Alabama take a big leap forward, but you never know. Obviously Ryan Coleman Williams, big spinny catch guy. That's basically it because for the amount of catches he had last year, he should have had a lot more yards. He did not do a whole lot. He's followed by Lotzier Brooks. He had 442 yards last year, but he's dealing with a possible concussion right now during camp. He should be good by week 1. But with those things, you really never know.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb Edwards is your tight end 1. He had some snaps throughout the last season, and he should be hopefully stepping into a bigger role as the starting tight end for Alabama.
All right, on the defense, they bring in some intriguing defensive tackles in Devin Tompkins and Terrence Green. The edges also look good with a rotation of breakout Yanze Pierre, Desmond Umeozulu, and 5-star Xavier Griffin. So it's going to be a tough D-line. The inside linebacker competition is pretty unproven, with anyone's guess as to who will start aside VT transfer Caleb Woodson. And then the secondary is just absolutely filled with studs. Bray Hubbard, Keon Sabbs, Xavier Brown, all of some of the best backs in college ranks. So they got some good defense here. Mm-hmm. They got Bama defense. I just don't think they have Bama offense.
They don't have Bama offense.
Which is why I do have them going 4-8. I don't want to have Bama going 4-8, but I look at the schedule, I'm like, oh my gosh, I really can't pick them against some of these teams. They get wins against ECU, big losing streak. They go on the road and beat Tennessee. They beat Chattanooga at their place. And where's the other win? I missed one. Where's the fourth win? Oh, no, there's Chattanooga. Oh, LSU. They go to the Swamp. Not the Swamp. Death Valley and beat
LSU.
Well,
I have some more hope, I guess you could say, in Alabama than you do, because I'm going 7-5.
Okay.
Which
I think that's a little bit more
realistic.
I want them to be like a 6-6, 7-5 team.
Yeah.
But like a lot of these games, I just can't pick them.
Well, I have them losing to Florida State, South Carolina, Georgia, Texas A&M, and I have them losing to LSU, actually, in Death Valley.
Okay. All right. We move on to Arkansas. Arkansas fans, to any of them out there, I feel for you, okay? I really do. You have this generational quarterback and a fantastic offense around him, but the defense loses you game after game after game, and they're all one score, and you end up 2-10, and your QB gets drafted, and there goes your coach. Sam Pittman is gone. In comes Ryan Silverfield from Memphis. He brings his OC in. He gets his DC from Florida. Call me a conspiracy theorist, but I think KJ Jackson's just KJ Jefferson in disguise. I mean, KJ was just playing for Arkansas 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Moves to UCF. Boom. Career over.
Who's to say he's not KJ Jefferson?
Might just be KJ Jefferson in disguise.
Have you seen both of them in the same room together?
No, I haven't.
Exactly.
He's got a solid release of the ball, which, KJ didn't have. But not a whole lot of experience. So we will see with KJ Jackson. Braylon Russell returns to the Razorbacks after showing promise last year with a 6 carry per game workload. He'll join proven commodity Sutton Smith from Memphis to create a dynamic 1-2. Receiving room doesn't look as stellar as last year's, but returners C.J. Brown, Jaden Platt, and Ismail Cisse will look to make an impact. And offensive line kind of looks leaky, so not entirely confident in that group.
Yeah, KJ Jackson, he's my QB1 for the Razorbacks. Not a whole lot to say about him. I did see a report that he's taking the first team reps for Arkansas, so that's obviously a good sign.
Yeah.
He finished off last season against Texas and Missouri. Braylon Russell comes back. Obviously, you said 6 carries a game. Still a lot to prove, in my opinion, from him. Obviously, they bring in Sutton Smith. He had a good season at Memphis. However, he's dealing with a leg injury, but he also should maybe be good by week 1, is what I have seen. They do bring back C.J. Brown, who's looking to step up from last year. And then they bring in a Boise State transfer by Chris Marshall. He had 598 yards last year. 211 were after the catch, which is not too shabby.
Yeah, I mean, for Boise State, they love to run the ball. So, I mean, there could be some hidden wide receivers in that room that aren't getting utilized.
Then they brought in Jamari Hawkins from Memphis, who had 37 catches for 623 yards. Pretty good stat line. Then obviously Jaden Black comes back. He had a good season last year for Arkansas, and he's looking to build off of that season.
All right. On this defensive line, there's some dudes that can really elevate this group. Quincy Rhodes and Kentucky transfer Steven Souls, guys to look out for. Linebacker room looks serviceable. Bradley Shaw will lead it. To tell you how bad Arkansas' secondary was last year, I threw my phone at a wall when Julian Neal was drafted to the Seahawks because I saw Arkansas and I saw a defensive back, and I really couldn't tell you what we're thinking here.
You can't be serious. Did you actually?
I think it was either a wall or a couch. They were painfully slow as a unit. They got burnt every drive, but Silverfield acknowledged this and brought in an absolute army of transfers to make the group quicker. There is no true standout, but I'll highlight UNC transfer Kamori House, an all-ACC honorable mention, since he transferred Christian Harrison and Tulane man Jaheim Johnson. So I think it could be a really improved group, and you know how much I love when coaches identify holes and fill them. So
Pause.
With that, I've got Arkansas having an all-time year, 8-4, 5-4 in the SEC. With losses to Georgia at home, Texas A&M on the road, Auburn on the road, Texas on the road.
So we got completely opposite sides of the spectrum because I have Arkansas going 4-8, 1-8 in conference play.
Oh my goodness!
They beat North Alabama. They beat Utah. They lose to Georgia. They beat Tulsa, and then they go on the losing streak of a lifetime until they beat South Carolina. That is it.
All right. Already disagreeing. This is going to be our worst one yet, I think. Auburn!
I think, okay.
Don't overreact, but this offense might be amazing.
That's what you have to say about it.
Yeah, I really like Auburn's chances this year. Alex Golish, now the head of the team, now that Hugh Freeze is gone. He brings over that insane USF offense, starting with Byron Brown at quarterback. And I mentioned that my favorite running back room in the entire country is here in Auburn. This is why. Jeremiah Cobb, Bryson Washington from Baylor, Nakahi Davenport from USF, and Tay Meadows from Troy. All in the same room. Hell, Omar Mabson II's having a great fall camp. That's 5 insane running backs. They could run the ball every snap and win the natty.
Okay, I don't think so, but
the Freeze 4 is gone now that Hugh, of course, is gone. But now it's the Golish 4. Was it Keyshawn Singleton, the one that was at USF? There were a lot of Singletons in the NFL, or the college football ranks last year. Keyshawn Singleton, Jeremiah Koger, Chaz Nimrod, and Mr. Neptune over here that I forgot his name. Hold on. Neptune, USF. Christian Neptune.
Oh, yeah, I have him written down.
Yes. So all of them follow Golish to Auburn alongside, I think, another dude. I forgot his name. I'm sorry.
Jonathan Eccles?
I don't think it was Eccles.
Well, he did come from USF.
He brings a lot of USF guys, y'all, and they're all really good. They all have an entire year of chemistry. The O-line's pretty gutted, which is kind of unfortunate, because if it was, this would be like the best offense in the country.
Yeah, quarterback, you have Byron Brown, obviously pretty good at USF last year, I would say.
Pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. He had a really good G6 season. Led USF to the Cure Bowl, where they lost to Old Dominion Monarchs. Yes, I felt the need to mention that, even though we are in the SEC. The running back 1 looks to be Jeremiah Cobb. He doesn't really have a listed backup. However, it's just because that room is very deep in talent.
Yeah.
He almost had 1,000 yards last year, only 5 touchdowns, but he looks to improve. All 3 of their main receivers happen to be USF transfers: Keyshawn Singleton, Chaz Nimrod, and Christian Neptune, who you already talked about. Mm-hmm. And Jonathan Eccles looks to be their tight end, but he is also dealing with an undisclosed injury. My only problem with his offense is the step up in competition.
It's fair. We talked about Oklahoma State a couple weeks ago, and I said I like Auburn more than I like Oklahoma State because Auburn brings in Auburn recruits. Mm-hmm. Oklahoma State has Oklahoma State recruits to fill the gaps that aren't brought up from those ranks. So that's why I like Auburn a little bit better, or a lot better, I should say. Defense. It's got pieces in terms of the D-line. The depth is kind of meh. Debo Atkins is a star in the linebacker room and is paired with 2025 SEC All-Freshman honoree Elijah Melendez. And defensive backs are also incredibly talented. Honestly, looking great for Auburn this year. I think that this is the year that they win the Iron Bowl. 10-2, 7-2 in the SEC, with losses to Georgia on the road and Ole Miss on the road.
Well, I guess we do not share the same hope in Auburn then at all. Because I'm going 6-6, 3-6 in conference play. I simply think it's just due to the fact that most of this team, especially the offense, is coming from a G6 team.
I guess I just was loving what USF was doing last year, although I'm not allowed to say that as a UCF fan.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. USF was having a really good season last year. Mm-hmm. But I don't... You go from... What conference are they in? American. You go from the American to the SEC. It's two completely different styles of play. Either way, I have Auburn losing to Florida, Tennessee, Georgia, LSU, Ole Miss, and Alabama. So they don't win the Iron Bowl this year, but they go bowling.
This is actually a pretty light schedule aside from Ole Miss and Georgia, honestly. I'm taking a look at it. It's not terrible.
It's not terrible, but it's just...
Yeah. Florida! I can't wait to tell everyone why they're wrong about Florida once again this year.
Flo Rida.
I mean, I love that they finally got rid of Billy Napier, but bad news.
That was not the only problem.
Unfortunately, it does seem like they have a few more problems. Because DJ Lagway also leaves. As much as people were clowning on him last year, he's still a very young quarterback. Let's not jump to conclusions. DJ Lagway is still a very talented guy, but it was a mixture of the system and just growing pains and
just a whole lot of fun stuff.
Anyways, that whole clown show's over. John Summerall finally gets his chance to prove his system works at the P4 level, bringing his coordinators with unheard of calibers compared to the Napier era. Quarterback battle. Wonderful. It's between Georgia Tech transfer Aaron Philo and redshirt freshman Tramel Jones Jr. Buster Faulkner, the OC, has been coaching Philo for 2 years, so Philo knows the system. I think that'll give him the edge over Tramel Jones Jr., plus like the fact that he's a little bit older, more experienced in general. Jaden Baugh was incredible last year, early DOIC candidate, especially if this offense isn't really humming under Aaron Philo or Tramel Jones Jr. Depth behind him also pretty good. They're bringing in one of the best receivers in the country in Eric Singleton Jr. That's another Singleton. Vernell Brown III is a stud, but he must keep last year's drop total in the past. Dallas Wilson's a physical specimen, but was injured most of the year last year. If either of these QBs are serviceable, this is a great attack. And unfortunately, the O-line is in a transition period after losing many multi-year starters.
Yeah, I mean, I like Aaron Philo in this quarterback battle. It's due to the fact that, I mean, he's been working with the OC for 2 years now, and he's proved more in college football than who's he up against again?
Tramel Jones Jr.
Than Tramel Jones. He was at Georgia Tech, didn't play a whole lot, which is fine given the
Haynes King.
Behind Haynes King.
Yeah.
But he's proven more in college football, so I feel like he gets that starting gig. Jaden Baugh, great season last year, in my opinion, for what he did. Eclipsed 1,000 yards, amazing. He looks to be backed up by Duke Clark, And then a Cincinnati transfer, Evan Pryor. Both guys didn't do a whole lot, but they're serviceable backups, which is all right. That's all you'll need. Obviously, they bring in Eric Singleton from Auburn. Huge pickup. And then Vernell Brown, like you said, he has to just keep the drop totals down. And then their tight end looks to be Luke Harpin, who also came from Georgia Tech, who his build at 6'3", 237 isn't as big as you'd think for a tight end. So I put down his build screams a big wide receiver at most, which isn't bad necessarily, because it could give Aaron Philo somebody to check down to if he needs to.
Yes. The good thing about, or what you want in a offense with a very green quarterback, is a safety valve, which is why Drew Aller was able to do so well in the preseason game. Did you see those touchdown passes? It was just checkdowns.
Yeah, I did.
On the edge, Jaden Woods returns after a promising true freshman year. The new defensive coordinator here in town, Brad White, his scheme requires a high-quality D-line, and I think there are pieces for this line to be solid, but I'm not completely sold yet, so it's kind of a wait-and-see. Miles Graham returning in the linebacker room is big. Jaden Robinson alongside him is also decent. Behind them, I'm not incredibly convinced. Cormani McLean should further improve in this secondary, finally making that big jump. If not, there's also another breakout candidate in that room, Dijon Johnson, coming off an injury. Kanye Clark making waves in practice. It's kind of a defense, like a wild card of defense. I really wasn't able to get a good grasp on it. So I kind of just assumed it's Florida level and put them at 4-8. 2-7 in the SEC. Wins against FAU, Campbell, on the road against Mizzou, and at home versus Vandy.
Well, I have Florida going 5-7, 3-6 in conference play, so almost exact.
Yeah.
They beat FAU, they beat Campbell, they beat Auburn, they beat Mizzou. Do they go on a heck of a losing streak? Oh my goodness! And then they beat Vanderbilt.
All right, so we weren't too far off.
Yeah.
You just had the Florida versus Auburn game flipped. Let's talk some Georgia football.
Georgia. Oh, except this isn't the Masters.
Yeah, we were kind of in the mood in a Georgia state of mind because we just had the honey pepper pimento sandwiches at Chick-fil-A. So this wasn't influenced by it, but we're definitely feeling a lot better about it.
Oh yeah.
Kirby Smart and Gunnar Stockton return to the ever-powerful Georgia Bulldogs. Gunnar, having yet another season under the system, could make him a top 5 quarterback in college football by year's end. They also return Nate Frazier and Chauncey Bowens, their 2 best running backs. Oscar Delp is gone in the tight end room, but that Georgia tight end culture is top tier. I wouldn't worry. The issue comes in the wide receiver room. Isaiah Canyon comes in from Georgia Tech, but there's a lot of unfamiliarity from deep within the depth chart that Georgia is relying upon to make things happen in the passing game. And I don't know if I trust their wide receiver pipeline as much as I would in Ohio State or a LSU. Or a Penn State. No.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's really funny. I'd say it's more akin to Penn State. O-line also loses some key pieces, but I think that's a position that I trust them to replace as the Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah,
I think
as they usually do.
O-line is definitely much more you can count on.
Yeah. Need I say more about Gunnar Stockton? Had a heck of a season last year for Georgia.
Yeah. He's not flashy, but he gets the job done.
He gets the job done. That's really all you need to do at the end of the day. They bring back Nate Frazier. They bring back Chauncey Bowens. Both really good running backs. I really like this running back room, which says a lot for me. This running back room I did highlight as the weak spot of the offense. Obviously, they bring in Isaiah Canyon from Georgia Tech, which I don't know why you go from Georgia Tech to Georgia.
I mean, it's nothing sacred, guys. Come on.
The second week we have to say it's like lock in.
I think it actually might be the third.
that's not any better.
I think there was an Oregon State, Washington State transfer.
Ooh.
So anyway, come on, guys.
And they bring back London Humphreys and Sakovi White-Helton, who didn't do a whole lot, so they really have to step up. And their tight end is obviously not Oscar Delp, is Lawson Lucky. He has had solid production for them over the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And with that offense and the way it moves, there's no reason why he shouldn't have a good season again this year, honestly.
I didn't even pick that up. I definitely watched Lucky play. So that's
Well, aren't you lucky?
Yeah, aren't we lucky to watch another year of Lawson Lucky? This run-stuffing defensive line only loses one key player in Christian Miller. But has so many prospects behind him that we'll probably be talking about this unit every week in just a month or two. C.J. Allen is gone, but stop me if you heard me say this before. They have talent within the system to replace it. KJ Bolden returns in the secondary, but the rest of it is unproven guys. However, trust the Georgia system. Find a hidden gem within, such as Ellis Robinson IV, who we saw a little bit of last year, and DeMello Jones, who has been showing something in practice. The only concern I have about this team, wide receiver room, and a lack of experience at QB if Stockton goes down, which is pretty much everywhere, unless you have like a weird situation like Oregon, where you have like another
quarterback just waiting.
Yeah, like Gunner used to be that guy when Carson Beck was there.
Yeah,
he got injured, and then he started in the playoffs. So.
Anyway,
Georgia, I'd be a fool not to have you go 12-0.
Wait, let me guess. They go undefeated in conference play too.
Yes, you're correct. Would you like to hear their losses?
Wait, that's funny because they don't have any losses, and that's the same way it is for me. Georgia is a 12-0, very dominant SEC team. They're right now the staple of the SEC in this current era of football.
Yep.
So there's no reason to bet against them until I see otherwise. 12-0, 9-0 in the conference play.
Mm-hmm. While some teams couldn't handle the portal era like Clemson, Georgia took it and went with it full stride. Applause for Georgia. We move on to Kentucky.
Oh, God.
Mark Stoops is out as head coach. And now, former Oregon offensive coordinator and the youngest coach in the SEC, Will Stein, is at the helm. Should be a much more explosive team this year. Something to be excited about. Kenny Minchie is the quarterback coming in after Cutter Boldy walked. He hasn't had much starting experience, but he was serviceable behind C.J. Carr last year. He had a QB battle with C.J. Carr to start at one point last year. So, you know how good C.J. Carr was as a freshman. This guy Minchie, if he was competing with him, you'd think he's probably pretty good. C.J. Baxter, great get from Texas. Javonte Barnes from Oklahoma, also great. Both have concerning injury history. I'm willing to look past it. Pass catchers look decent. Tight end Willie Rodriguez is due for another decent year. Nick Anderson at wide receiver has gotten in a bunch of bad situations that have prevented him from replicating that 2023 season he had with OU. But I think he's got... Stop laughing.
I'm not laughing. I don't know what you're talking about.
I really believe in Nick Anderson. I remember watching him. I think he actually might have played the UCF game in the one season that OU and UCF shared a conference, where UCF nearly and really should have beat Oklahoma, but I digress. Wide receiver Shane Carr from Southern Utah, FCS, breakout star in spring ball. Wide receiver room does seem a little bit shallow outside of that. And the new O-line, it looks really good on paper. I do. Time will tell if they gel, but I like it.
Well, don't you wish everything was just on paper? Obviously, Kenny Minchie, heck of a guy, Notre Dame transfer. Obviously, you had the quarterback battle with C.J. Carr. You need to be good to have a quarterback battle with any quarterback at Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
So, good for him.
At least in college. Once they go to the NFL, it's just...
Yeah. But I don't think I've written enough things about injury. I don't think I've written so many things about injuries for any team in any conference until I got to Kentucky.
Let's just hope that they stay away from the electrical substation.
C.J. Baxter, he came from Texas. He missed half of last year due to a hamstring injury.
Yeah.
He missed all of 2024 with an LCL and PCL tear.
Yep.
So he got surgery for that before the season started. Time will tell if... Anyway, his backup, Javonte Barnes from Oklahoma, had missed the spring game. He's expected to be back week 1. Lucky enough.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Anderson.
Yes.
Missed basically all of 2024 with a quad injury.
Yes.
And he missed the start of fall camp.
Yes.
DJ Miller, who is their wide receiver too, missed the first half of last season with an undisclosed injury.
Mm-hmm.
Willie Rodriguez, on the other hand, played a good bit of the season.
Yeah.
310 yards, and he has improved from his first season. That is it for now.
All right, I'll quickly gloss over this defense. D-line seems fine. Again, depth is a little bit of a concern. Linebackers, though, great returning depth and some decent pieces arriving in the portal. And the secondary, same thing, solid, featuring Ty Bryant as the head of the unit. I was heading into this, picking their schedule, thinking, okay, Kentucky, bowl game at least. But of course, the late season's probably gonna be a little bit tough. They're probably not gonna have a whole lot of guys. Then I took a look at the late half of the season, y'all. So, Kentucky beats Youngstown State, of course. Alabama, I don't think is that great of a team. I think Kentucky could definitely win that one at home, too. Then they go to Kyle Field, full strength. Texas A&M, I mean, Marcel Reed always is due for one just terrible game, at least. I mean, we saw it last year. I think they could take Kentucky a little bit too lightly. So now that Kentucky is really making waves, they play South Alabama. That could be a fun game because I really like South Alabama. South Carolina, LSU. We're at week 6 by now. Both of the running backs are probably hurt. At least one of them is probably hurt. Nick Anderson is probably on his last limb. They drop one to Oklahoma on the road. That's fair.
Oh, that's when they drop one.
Oklahoma is a great defense. Ugh. And then it's just absolutely nothing. They host Vandy on the road against Tennessee, who I think is just not going to be good any good this year. They host Florida, go on the road against Mizzou, who I also think is going to be terrible. And then they have a rivalry game which could go any way. By now they're 10-1, and they need to make the playoffs, have maybe even the championship game, and they beat Louisville to go 11-1. 8-1 in the SEC.
Isn't that just great? Let me bring you back down to earth, Nick.
No.
I have Kentucky. They're not bad. They go 7-5.
Okay.
They go 4-5 in conference play. That back half of the schedule really helps them, though. Their losses, though, do come against Alabama. It does Texas A&M. I don't think Marcel Reed dropped. I don't think that's the Marcel Reed game that he doesn't have a good one. LSU. They lose to Oklahoma. Oh, they lose to South Carolina. But they win 5 in a row to end the season.
Yeah.
They'll be 2-5, and then they'll be 7-5. That, I will give it to you. The way they end their season, I don't think they could have asked for a better SEC schedule to end the season on.
If you flip this, they're going like 5-7, I think. If you flip the schedule around, I think that Kentucky would be a very, very bad team.
I think I'm very happy with my 7-5. I do not like 11-1 though.
I'm not comfortable with 11-1. That's the problem.
And yet you,
I picked, but if I go through the schedule, I'm like, well, they're not losing these games. They could lose the Texas A&M one. I'm not putting that against them, but I didn't want two 12-0 teams in the SEC. We'll get to them later. Let's get to LSU now.
I would like.
We're probably going to disagree on this one too.
Probably.
Lane Kiffin needs to make immediate impact in his new role here at head coach of the LSU Tigers. Luckily, he has one of, if not the best, portal quarterback in Sam Leavitt. He is recovering from a foot injury and did miss some spring practice because of it. The running back room is one of the best in the nation. Caden Durham. Huh?
Best in the nation?
Oh, yeah. Injured for the rest of the year.
I know.
Man, it really sucks what happened. I mean, I miss Jamal. I miss prime Jamal Adams. Even though we traded way too much to get him, and it was just such a bad trade. Anyways, Caden Durham, one of, if not my favorite running back in college football, is back. I've been on him since like 2024. I've been a big Caden Durham guy for a while. Only other guy that I think could really top him that is in the college ranks right now is TCU's guy, Jeremy Payne, who I'm really excited for this year. Harlem Berry, they return. And they bring in Dylan Jones from Wisconsin, an absolute bowling ball of a man. The receiver room might be led by a tight end this year, honestly. They got a former basketball player, Trades Green, who's caught 7 touchdowns last year. Because the actual wide receiver room had insane turnover. Jace Brown comes in from Kansas State. He'll be the wide receiver 1. He's been a consistent option for years in Manhattan, Kansas. Jackson Harris, stud at Hawaii.
Oh, yeah.
Winnie Watkins comes in from Ole Miss, following Kiffin and the system. I really loved last year's group. There's a reason I picked LSU to make my championship game, if not win it. I completely forgot who I picked. I picked either them or the Clemson Tigers. It doesn't really matter anymore. None of them Clemson went 6-6, I think. Whatever.
Yeah, Sam Leavitt, transfer portal, Arizona State, heck of a quarterback.
Yeah.
In my opinion, honest, and agreeing with you, best quarterback in the portal.
Progressing so much faster than I thought he would. Last season was like weird though. He only threw like 7 touchdowns or something.
Yeah. But anyway, they bring in not a whole lot. They bring in Dylan Jones from Wisconsin in the running back room. It could be a running back 3, but he's also been out with season-ending injuries back to back, which says a whole lot. The main forces are Caden Duran and Harlan Berry, who had both very similar seasons last year at 500 yards and had a combined 5 touchdowns. However, I see a lot of upside in those two, so it's going to be very exciting for that running back room. This wide receiver room I really like, actually, with Jackson Harris from Hawaii. He was actually just short of 1,000 yards. He had 12 touchdowns as well for the Utah Warriors.
Yep.
And then Winston Watkins Jr. following Lane Kiffin. So obviously there's already some kind of familiarity with what the playbook could possibly be. Then Trey'Dez Green, who had a very good season for a tight end and is looking to replicate it, basically.
LSU O-line's almost always stuck as a unit, so I won't bother hyping them up, even if they don't. I mean, they also just don't look great anyways. Defensive line, absolutely stacked with talent. You'll be hearing a lot from people talking about Dominic McKinley, Stephen Green, Prince Will Umamielen, and Gabriel Relaford all year. Linebacker duo, absolutely insane. Whit Weeks returns alongside Ole Miss's TJ Daughtery, but they have to stay healthy because behind them is defensive backs, deep, like most of the roster. DJ Pickett, Deshaun Spears, Ty Benefield bring the star power. One problem with Blake Baker defenses: mobile quarterbacks are their Achilles heel. No idea what the problem is, but anytime they play a mobile quarterback, just something collapses. Which is why I do have them going 4-8, 1-8 in the SEC. This is a tough schedule too. I mean, I'll go over the teams that they lose to just to highlight the schedule. First of all, they beat Clemson. They beat Louisiana Tech. Then they lose to Ole Miss on the road. Then they have to host Texas A&M, a great team. That sucks. They get the win against McNeese. Then they have to go to Kentucky. They host Mississippi State. By then, Kamario Taylor will have a few reps in him, and I think that Fluff Bothwell, great running back. Kamario Taylor, mobile quarterback. Byron Brown for Auburn, mobile quarterback. That's a loss. Alabama by then will have either one of their quarterbacks. They'll have their quarterback battle set in stone.
I would hope by then they have their quarterback battle set in stone. It's week 10.
Yeah, so they know who they're running out, trotting out there, whether it's Mac or it's remind me,
guy with a name.
Galen Russell. Sorry, brain fart. Texas Arch Manning. I mean, that's just Texas in general. They finally get a win against Tennessee, but by then it's too late, and then they go into the last week of the season against Arkansas and KJ Jackson. So,
well, I have LSU on the other side of the coin, going 9-3.
Whoa,
6-3 in conference play. They will lose to Texas A&M. They'll lose to Ole Miss. So Lane Kiffin loses his return to Mississippi. They lose to Texas A&M. Won a heck of a win streak. Then they just run into Arch Manning in Texas. So they lose that one too.
Yeah, I'm not totally against.
There's just so many ways it could go for them.
Yeah, LSU's a good team. It's just, they play like the hardest teams. Okay, Mississippi State. I told you we'd talk about them.
I really hope this isn't one of the hardest teams you're talking about.
Nope. Wait. Well, this is one of the teams that they lose to.
Well, yeah.
Jeff Lebby entering his third year with the Bulldogs, and just hired the man he replaced as his defensive coordinator, Zach Arnett. Was always a defensive guy, so this is a good move. It's like the Virginia Tech situation,
Oh, yeah.
getting rehired as your defensive coordinator. Kamario Taylor will be replacing millionth-year senior Blake Shapen. He's the highest QB recruit in the school's history. So
Really?
lots of expectations for this guy, including for me. Fluff Bothwell, what a name, will be the undisputed running back one with a very suspect group backing him up. Brennan Thompson leaving, kind of unfortunate, but they get an equally skilled player in Marquise Johnson from Mizzou. They also retain Anthony Evans.
This is true.
Rest of it, I'm not too confident in. We'll see how good the tight end room is. Seydou Traore is gone for the NFL. The offensive line is... Goodness, this dog doesn't even understand that we're recording a podcast. Offensive line retooled after a very bad year last year, and I think it should be better.
Yeah, Kamario Taylor, quarterback, right there. He'll have fun. I just didn't write a whole lot about him. He had some late production last year for Mississippi State, so that's always something. Fluff Bothwell, heck of a name. I love it. Looks to be running back one, undisputed. He'll be backed up by Xavier Gayton, who is basically solidified at that backup. They do bring back Anthony Evans, and they bring in a Mizzou transfer in Marquise Johnson, 369 yards, 2 touchdowns last year. And the tight end position is somehow at a position battle between Sam West and Oregon State transfer Riley Williams.
Oh,
Believe it or not. So those two are battling it out for tight end one in this offense.
is there another Seydou Traore in that room?
Probably not.
Probably not. Defensive line stays mostly intact and has plenty of SEC experience. The linebacker room has pieces, but I think lacks depth. Defensive backfield is led by honestly a superstar in Kelly Jones. Definition of lockdown. But the safeties do need to step up here, and the fact that Kelly is there will target the less experienced DBs more. He'll probably just lock up their wide receiver one, and then the rest of the...
It's just left to the rest of the group.
Yeah. So I have Mississippi State going a pedestrian, but very good for their standards, 6-6. 4-5 in the SEC. I'll go over losses.
It's all right.
They lose to Minnesota on the road. They lose to South Carolina on the road. They lose to Oklahoma at home. They lose to Texas on the road. They lose to they beat Vandy. They lose to Auburn at home. And then honestly, I think will be very entertaining Egg Bowl. They do lose to Ole Miss.
Huh. Well, I have Mississippi State going 4-8.
That's a very Mississippi State record.
2-7 in conference play. They'll beat UL Monroe. They'll beat Missouri. They'll beat Vanderbilt. And then they'll beat Tennessee Tech. But I think the Egg Bowl will be a good game, honestly.
Mm-hmm. You want to talk about that old Missouri team?
I would love to talk about Mizzou. Is how I usually abbreviate them.
Yeah, as most people do.
For good reason.
Eli Drinkwitz will enter his 7th year with the program. Offensive coordinator Kirby Moore is headed to Pullman, and in is Michigan's Chip Lindsey. Now the dog's trying to open the door. I don't know if he'll be very successful. It doesn't really have a hatch. Okay. Bo Pribula, gone. Starters projected to be the man who nearly screwed Ole Miss's season last year in Austin Simmons. If he never got hurt, Trinidad Chambliss never comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Behind him is the arguably better quarterback, and Matt Zollers, although, I think he has potential. Not a whole lot of people do. I'm still a Zollers believer. Ahmad Hardy at running back was shot over the offseason. But Drinkwitz has told the media he will return sometime early in the year. So his career is not over. But Jamal Roberts will be the guy to be running back while he is recovering from that. This is very entertaining. Sorry. As terrible as it is to listen to, I'm sure, the dog is trying to open the basement door. because there's paint down there, and probably mother. Last year's passing offense was pretty lackluster, so some weapons are brought in. Notably, Caden Lee is the gem of this group, but it's still kind of thin. I'm not loving it. And then O-line returns a couple of starters and seems to be working pretty hard to be a top-tier SEC unit this year. There we go.
Whoa. Don't mind the voice crack. But yeah, they bring in Austin Simmons from Ole Miss. Obviously, big storyline between him and Trinity Chambliss.
Yeah.
Ahmad Hardy, unfortunate situation.
Yes.
Thankfully, should be back. He was one of the best running backs in college football last year, in my opinion. Hopefully he can return some of his production. I really hope. Because, I mean, he's in line to go into the draft. So, they did bring in Caden Lee from Ole Miss. He had 643 yards. And then they have Donovan Olugbade. He had decent production last year, so he looks to step up. They bring in Caleb Goody from Cincinnati. He had a decent season last year, and he's looking to step into a bigger role in the SEC. Then they bring in, they don't bring anybody in. Their tight end one is going to be Brett Norfleet, who is a senior. He has been there all 3 years.
Yep.
He's been solid all 3 years from Mizzou. No reason he wouldn't be solid his final season.
Yeah, Norfleet's a very good option. Like you said, been around for quite a while. We don't see that a whole lot. I got 3 words for the defense, 1 for each group.
Oh.
So for the defensive line, I'll say inexperienced. Linebacker room, I'll say solid. Defensive backs, I'm going to say thin. Mizzou, I have going 2-10, winless in the SEC. Wins against Arkansas Pine Bluff because they suck, and a win against Troy.
Well, I have Mizzou going 3-9, 1-8 in the SEC though.
Mm-hmm.
They beat Arkansas Pine Bluff. I know it's a surprise to everyone.
Yes.
They beat Troy, and then they beat Arkansas. That's really it.
Yeah, I mean, you take a look at the schedule. Even their out-of-conference stuff, they have to play Kansas on the road. Mississippi State, Florida, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Arkansas, Texas, Georgia, Kentucky, Oklahoma.
Schedule.
My goodness, they play everyone. That's important.
Literally every good team they could possibly find.
Speaking of those good teams,
Boomer Sooner.
Oklahoma. Brent Venables is back after leading the Sooners to a playoff appearance in his 4th year as the program's head coach, entering his 5th this season. John Mateer is back, hopefully recovered from that thumb injury that apparently screwed him up for most of the season last year.
Some would hope.
I think he still has the talent. I really hope so, because he was great to watch at Wazoo.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people have kind of lost hope. And I feel like that's kind of unwarranted. They returned their physical running backs in Torrey Blaylock and Xavier Robinson. Good prospects, but they need blockers, which I don't know if they have this year. I like the wide receiver core. They bring back All-SEC wide receiver Isaiah Satania after a incredible junior year. Bring in Terrell Harris. They bring in Parker Livingstone from Texas. Again, is nothing sacred. I'd say this is one of the best offenses in the conference, but offensive line didn't improve enough. So Mateer will be running for his life once more.
Yep, John Mateer comes back, had a decent season, given the fact that he was dealing with a thumb injury. So the fact that he just played through it is, in of itself, pretty good, I'd like to say. They bring back Xavier Robinson, Joy Blaylock. Love those guys. In my opinion, it could be a sneaky running back group.
Oklahoma's
honestly.
always got some good running backs, some sneaky good running backs, I feel.
However, Blaylock has been dealing with injuries during fall camp. Hopefully, he's recovered by week 1 for the Sooners. They obviously bring back Satenga, over 1,000, well, almost had 1,000 yards. He had 8 touchdowns, heck of season last year. They bring in Parker Livingston from Texas. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
He had 550 and 6 touchdowns last year for them, and then they bring in Terrell Harris. He had a really good season for UVA. He did 855 yards.
Yeah.
Obviously, UVA team almost wins the ACC.
They won the ACC, just the regular season title.
The regular season ACC. Then their tight end is going to be a Florida transfer by the name of Hayden Hansen, who is a very productive pass-catching tight end, to say the least.
But they need blocking. Oklahoma, of course, stud defense, has the best defense of all time last year. Maybe. I don't know. But it lost most of its important pieces. But I think they bring in some good pieces to get at least close to that production. Taylor Ween, returns after a breakout season last year. The interior has a fierce duo in David Stone and Jaden Jackson. Linebacker, they retain studs in Kip Lewis and Owen Heineke, while bringing in Michigan man Cole Sullivan and placing Reggie Powers III at the Cheetah. And the Bowen brothers will lock down the secondary with some question marks around them. Also, Lou Graza winner Tate Sandell is back. So, do I think he should have won it? No. I think that Kansei Matsuzawa, Hawaii kicker, the YouTube guy, what did we call him? What was his nickname? It was so awesome.
Oh, yeah, I remember you talking about.
The Tokyo Toe, yeah, is in the NFL. I hope he starts eventually. I know he's
a
backing
Las
someone
Vegas
up right
Raiders.
now. Yeah, he's backing up. Who's their kicker right now? Is it still Daniel Carlson?
Raiders kicker. Yep, still Daniel Carlson.
Okay, yeah. I think that hopefully Kansei finds a starting job somewhere, because he is the GOAT, and he'll take Young Wei Koo's position as the Asian kicker. Because I don't think Young Wei Koo is going to have a very much longer.
I don't think he's even in the NFL anymore.
Okay. Oklahoma, I have going a crisp 8-4, 5-4 in the SEC, with losses to Georgia on the road, Texas at home, or that's not at home, that's a neutral site. They lose Red River. They beat Mississippi State. Oh, wait, I'm doing losses. Ole Miss goes to their place and beats them, and then so does Texas A&M. So they lose to like the 4 best teams in the SEC.
So I scrolled through it, and we have the exact same picks. Oklahoma 8-4, 5-4 in the SEC. They will lose to Georgia, Texas, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M.
All right. I can't
really
believe we agreed on any of these.
I'm very surprised we agreed on any of it at all. So
that's 2 teams we've gotten correct, or we've gotten the same.
Yeah.
One of them was just 12-0, so that wasn't.
So it was like a gimme.
Yeah. This team I really wanted to go 12-0, but there are some factors that did not allow me to do so. As much as I love Trinidad Chambliss and Kewan Lacey, I am worried. Lane Kiffin took most of his staff with him, so Pete Golding has almost none of those pieces left.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember, people were talking at the beginning of the college football playoff season that Pete Golding, at the beginning of the regular season, went out and said that he doesn't really want to be a head coach. He doesn't want to deal with all of the NIL BS, I think he said.
Probably something like that.
So,
now he's
that's
here.
kind of worrying. As much as I love this team, there will be growing pains. Pete Golding as a coach, and some of the new guys who are replacing draftees will be growing here. I don't think they make the CFP semis again. I think they could get close, though. I think they really could.
Well, obviously Trinidad Chambliss, he's coming back after a really good season last year. I think you could be gunning for the Heisman, honestly, this year, because you never know. Kewan Lacey, he's, in my opinion, the best running back in college football right now, which isn't really a hot take. Had a really good season last year. He had 24 touchdowns last year, by the way.
Yes.
They are the the wide receiver room that was led by Deuce Alexander, who didn't even have 700 yards, and then Darrell Gill from Syracuse, who barely had over 500. So this receiving room is nothing like it was last year, in my opinion, which is all right, though. But Caleb Odom is going to be the tight end this season for Ole Miss after having a decent season last year. He is, like every other tight end I talk about, looking to improve.
Sorry, I'm just looking here.
Oh, no, you're good.
Because I didn't mention the wide receivers, I forgot to. You are right. So Harrison Wallace and Deshaun Stribling are gone from the wide receiver room, leaving Deuce Alexander in a whole lot of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
However, they do get Jonte Cook from Syracuse as well. Great get. And I think we can see some unexpected contributions from the tight ends. I don't write about the tight ends a lot of my notes.
Yeah.
I think this is a good tight end room. I think they're going to utilize the 12 formation with some top-tier tight ends in Caleb Odom and Luke Haas. Yeah. So, interior line, fantastic. However, both tackles from last year are headed to the NFL. But they have a quarterback who can escape the pocket with ease. So, who cares? I would just rather him not have to do that every third down. So,
yeah.
On the defensive line, Prince Will Unmanmielen does leave to follow his coach to LSU. but one of the best linemen in the country in Will Eccles and 340-pound Jaheim Otis should fill that gap. Well, Sunterian Perkins will have to keep the missed tackles low at the buck spot, but he's a stud. There's so much depth at the linebacker position. You got Keaton Thomas coming in from Baylor, Luke Farrelly from Cal, Taj Butler from Georgia Tech, Golding Love as linebackers, and it is very apparent. Secondary also brings in plenty of talent. Antonio Kite had a great year last year, and returns alongside him are a slew of top-tier transfers in Jalen Crawford, Jonel Aguero, Sharif Denson, and Edwin Joseph.
Sounds like a heck of a defense to me.
I love this defense. Only problem is, who is this man throwing to? I think he can find a way. Keywan Lacey and Trinidad Chambliss alone can find a way to will themselves to 10 wins and make the college football playoff. But they do drop 2 games to Texas on the road and Georgia at home.
It's funny because we agreed again, but the Ole Miss going 10-2, obviously, their 2 losses are, in my opinion, two of the best teams in college football. Mm-hmm. And they're Texas and Georgia. I mean,
yeah, I didn't like what the media said about like a lot of these teams, especially the Big Ten. But I think they got most of the SEC pretty good.
Yeah,
at least the top tier of the SEC.
At least the top of the. Yeah. Anyway,
South Carolina. What happened, guys? They were one of those teams that was ranked at the beginning of the season and fell out last year. The offensive line is what happened. It was a major part of it. 6th year of Beamer Ball, and he needs to figure out how to not waste Lenore Sellers' college career.
That would be ideal.
TCU's former offensive coordinator has been hired by the Cox in Kendall Briles. Great fit for Lenore's with their shared love for high-tempo offenses. The running backs are young guys who come from top programs and got buried in the depth chart. Wide receiver Nick Harbor returns. Does he finally have the hands to make him the next Tyreek Hill? On the field-wise, of course. I really hope he's not the next Tyreek Hill off the field. Nick Harbor, of course, a track star turned wide receiver. He's fast. He's big. Just can't catch the ball.
Yeah.
Jaden Sellers returns to catch passes from his brother. Never mind. He is injured. Nitro Tuggle is here from Purdue. Jaden Gibson, interesting prospect, being a valuable contributor for the Sooners in 2023 before injuries derailed his next couple of... Okay, he's injured too. Even the wide receiver coach's son is good. So, 5 of the wide receivers that I had previewed prior to this week when I found out that 2 of their top options were injured, I liked. That still leaves 3 wide receivers.
I mean, that's not too bad.
I think Sellers should definitely still have options. Back to that O-line. Beamer understood what went wrong. Hit the portal heavy at this spot. I think they will be much improved.
Let me look at my notes. Lenore Sellers is the quarterback. Wow, no way.
What?
Obviously, he had a decent season last year for South Carolina. It was all right, I'd say. He started off hot, then he kind of pit-maxed for a season, honestly.
Yeah.
Not like the team, but...
No, yeah, just him.
He pit-maxed.
Yeah.
Matt Fuller looks to be running back 1. He had shown signs of reductions, but overall, he still has a lot to prove for that running back room. Obviously, this wide receiver room, Nick Harbor and Nitro Tuggle. What a name, Nitro Tuggle.
Yeah.
Nick Harbor had a decent season last year. He had 618 yards and 6 touchdowns, and Tuggle had 500 yards and 4 touchdowns. So good on them. And I forgot to write down the name of the tight end, so let me stall for a bit because I wrote that he had a decent season last year for South Carolina, and he's looking to improve. This could not load any slower, could it? South Carolina Gamecocks. There we are. Stalling time? Who's stalling time? I'm not stalling time. Chart. Brady Hunt, I believe, is going to be your tight end. Yeah, Brady Hunt's going to be your tight end for South Carolina. He had a decent season last year, looking to build off of it. Basically, same things for every tight end that I say.
On defense, they lose some big contributors in the secondary in Jalen Kilgore and Brandon Cisse. However, on the D-line, they do have a great unit headlined by Dylan Stewart and Gabriel Brownlow-Dindy, while complemented by Julian Walker and Caleb Herring. Linebacker room returned some studs, and as I mentioned earlier, the secondary got rid of his top talent, but there is a bright spot in Kentucky transfer Quaysheed Scott, who has some good SEC reps. So I think this year won't be the year that everyone was expecting out of South Carolina by now, but it won't be last year. It's going to be a 7-5 season, 4-5 in the SEC, with losses to Kentucky at home, Oklahoma on the road, Texas A&M at home, Arkansas on the road, and Georgia at home.
All right, well, that's not too bad. I have South Carolina going to, let me get closer, 8-4, 5-4 in conference play. Do I have them? Well, first of all, they win 7 games in a row. They lose to Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Arkansas, Georgia. We have the same exact picks again.
No, I have Kentucky beating them.
Oh, you have Kentucky beating them?
Yeah.
When do they play Kentucky?
Week 5.
Yeah, you do have Kentucky beating them. We basically have the same picks outside of that Kentucky game. Anyway, I've been losing to Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Arkansas, Georgia, and South Carolina.
I might just be a closeted Notre Dame fan. I have no idea because I have like a lot of anyone who has a Notre Dame quarterback this year going to the moon. Like there will be. Okay, the way that this is shaping out, I think y'all know that Kentucky is making my college football playoff at 11-1 in the SEC.
Do you want to know who doesn't have a Notre Dame quarterback though that we get to talk about next? Because I know who.
Tennessee.
Rocky Top, Tennessee.
Last year was a roller coaster for Tennessee that ended in mediocrity. Now 6th-year head coach Josh Heupel looks to take the Vols back into CFP contention. Joey Aguilar, gone. There isn't really anything with college experience to replace him unless you really want Ryan Staub at the helm. He will not be in the QB race. It's between George McIntyre, redshirt freshman, and true freshman Faison Brandon, who is younger but has a more desirable dual threat ability. We have an SEC quarterback battle between a redshirt freshman and a true freshman. True freshmen do not start in the SEC unless your name is Jared Curtis. This year, you are not a redshirt freshman, or you're not a freshman. You are not starting in the SEC. It's just not a conference that young quarterbacks can really.
No, they don't flourish it.
So
usually,
Chris Brazel, no longer a Vol, but wide receiver Mike Matthews does return. They will need to find other guys to fill that Brazel-sized hole. And at running back, they return leading rusher Deshaun Bishop. That's all I wrote about Tennessee.
Wow. Like, did you write anything about their defense? Or
I did. We got it.
All right, well, yeah, George McIntyre, I guess, can be the starter. He can win the game of rock, paper, scissors.
He has the extra year.
To which quarterback gets absolutely mauled by SEC defenses.
Yeah.
Obviously, they bring back Deshaun Bishop. Really good season last year. Had 16 touchdowns with it. Braylon Staley is your wide receiver 1. He had 860 yards. He had 6 touchdowns. Pretty good season, I'd say. And he's held by Mike Matthews. He had 813 yards and 4 touchdowns. So very similar production. That's really about it on this offense, though.
Yeah. I didn't write a whole lot about the defense because the one thing I liked is just it kind of just fell through. They grabbed Penn State's former defensive coordinator in Jim Knowles, also formerly at Ohio State, and he brought Chaz Coleman with him. Unfortunately, Chaz Coleman will not be playing. He is medically disqualified, I believe. So, yikes. Knowles' 4-2-5 scheme is notoriously difficult to teach, especially for a completely new defense at Tennessee. This is only setting up for disaster.
What do you mean, setting up for success? Clearly.
A rebuild year for the Vols this year.
Oh, yeah.
They will only win 2 games.
Wow.
Furman and Kennesaw.
Well, I have them winning 4 games. Woo! They beat Furman and Kennesaw. Don't worry about that. They somehow beat Auburn. I think that's just one of the games Auburn kind of... It's like an up quote-unquote upset, I guess.
And they do have to travel to Tennessee, which isn't like the easiest place to play.
Then they'll go and beat Arkansas, and then they'll just lose the rest of the season. This is a very exciting team we get to talk about next, at least.
Yo, I love Texas teams this year. There's a lot of good Texas teams this year.
Oh, yeah.
Why not start? I guess we started a couple weeks ago at Texas Tech. And even then before, but like saying...
But why don't we just continue on this Texas...
With Texas. With the heart of it.
With the
name...
University of Texas.
Yes. UT. Not the real UT. The real UT is University of Tampa. I don't care what Texas or Tennessee fans have to say. If they should have had ut.edu as their domain, because if you go to ut.edu, it's the University of Tampa. I'm sorry. Sark brings in a new defensive coordinator this year after barely missing the playoffs last year. They just got off to too rough of a start, and you lose to Florida. You don't do that. Will Muschamp will bring the aggressive 4-2-5 system back to Austin. We just talked about the 4-2-5, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Arch Manning had some understandable sophomore yips last year at the beginning of the season, but as you've been hearing all season by the people who are just glazing Arch Manning to hell and back, oh, did you see what he did at the end of last year? He was the best quarterback in college football. He was doing pretty good. I'll give him that. Do you remember when he couldn't complete a pass against UTEP? Uh-oh.
Yeah, I kind of remember that.
Anyways, I'm willing to believe that Arch Manning's definitely going to have I'm gonna agree with the media here. Arch Manning's definitely gonna have a good season.
Is Nick agreeing with the media?
Yeah, no, I know, it's crazy. What is MJ Morris doing here? MJ Morris is, I think, like the third string quarterback at this point. Dead last in my quarterback rankings last year due to the worst quarterback performance in recent memory, and a 3-interception performance that resulted in a thrilling 13-0 win over Charleston Southern.
You're kidding, right? You know what? I believe you.
MJ Morris at Coastal Carolina had 3 interceptions against Charleston Southern and got benched for Tad Hudson.
Good!
13-0 win over Charleston Southern. If you will recall, if you know anything about the FCS, you'll know that Charleston Southern sucks.
Yeah, they're not good.
Anyways, there are Heisman expectations, and I think they're warranted. Not for MJ Morris. For Archman. And maybe someone in this running back room. They have a great one, too, in Malik Brown from USC and my man, Hollywood Smothers from the NC State Wolfpack. Mm-hmm. I mentioned him last week. I'm like, he's gone.
You mentioned him. Yeah, you mentioned him.
We're so back. Wide receiver room, top tier. Cam Coleman, Ryan Wingo leading the charge. Wingo had some issues against good secondaries last year, but talent is undeniable. Emmett Mosley, the fifth, should also see an increased role. The O-line was notably bad last year, and some shifting around has gone on in the spring. Time will tell if it works.
Obviously, your quarterback one isn't going to be Arch Manning. No, quarterback one, Arch Manning.
That's going to be MJ Morris.
Yeah, it's obviously going to be MJ Morris. Arch Manning, he's looking for a Heisman Trophy to add to his accolades. Not through college, but obviously through his career in football. I wouldn't be surprised to see him win it if he starts off the way he ended last season. I think his hype is warranted this year, unlike last year. Where
you were hyping up a guy because of his last name.
He was way overhyped last year. Obviously, it's toned down a bit this year, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the expectation is still there for him to win the Heisman. I believe he can do it. I believe he probably might honestly do it. I wouldn't be surprised to see it happen. Mm-hmm. Malik Brown, really good running back.
Yes.
He had 1,141 yards last year and 4 touchdowns. And Hollywood Smothers, your favorite running back in this room.
Yes.
He almost had 1,000 yards last year for NC State. He had 952. He had 6 touchdowns. Obviously, the wide receiver room brings back Ryan Wingo. They bring in Cam Coleman, and they bring back Emmett Mosley. This is a very, in my opinion, good wide receiver room. If Ryan Wingo can clear up his, question marks about good secondaries, Cam Coleman can just continue doing what he did last year. If Emmett Mosley can just step up in production, I don't see why this receiver room isn't the best one in college football, honestly.
It's really good. I love Cam Coleman. When Josh and I had a bet 2 years ago after the spinny catch, I said Jeremiah Smith was way better than Ryan Williams. He said Ryan Williams was way better than Jeremiah Smith. But we both agreed that Cam Coleman is better than both. So, Cam Coleman, I mean, at this point, Jeremiah Smith is like the best player in college football right now.
Yeah, undoubtedly.
I feel like Cam Coleman would honestly maybe be in that spot if he wasn't wasting away again under Hugh Freeze for the past few years, and people the likes of Auburn's quarterbacks weren't throwing to him the past 2 years. Now he's got Arch Manning throwing to him in his junior year. That's looking pretty good, honestly. The edge rushers will overwhelm opposing lines with Lance Jackson and Colin Simmons returning. Defensive tackle room also looks stacked, especially with Arkansas transfer 6'5", 380 pounds, Ian Jefford Ian Jeffrard, something like that. Rasheem Biles will replace Anthony Hill Jr. at linebacker very nicely. What I love about Texas's linebacker room is how versatile it is. How they'll be able to seamlessly get their top 2 or 3 guys out there at all times with that, that defense, that 4-2-5. And then their secondary did get gutted in the draft, losing Malik Muhammad, Michael Tafe, and Jalen Gilbo. There are pieces to replace them, but with how important this position is for this defense, I think it'll be harder to meet those expectations, and they might get burnt a couple of times. But still, I love the rest of it.
I promise I'm paying attention. I'm just looking for any news whatsoever to talk about as well once we get to
that. Still, I really doubt they get burnt a whole lot. I have Texas going 11-1, with their only loss being in the final game of the season against Texas A&M. Winner goes to the SEC championship game. It will be maybe the best college football game of the season.
You know what? Fair enough. I can roll with that. I don't have them going 11-1. I'm going 12-0.
Okay.
So I have 2 12-0 teams in the SEC. I don't have another one. I was very split in that Texas A&M game, though. Because obviously winner will go on to the SEC championship. I just think Texas has the edge over them. Not because, they're going to Kyle Field, yes. But I just feel like by that point in the season, this team they'll be chiseled into the team that that the media wanted them to be to start last season. Yes. They'll be able to compete for a national championship this year. They'll have a Heisman hopeful quarterback with a Heisman hopeful running back with a very good receiving core if all things pan out. So I really like this Texas team, honestly.
It's a dangerous Longhorns team, y'all.
And they have long horns.
Correct. Let's talk about some Aggies.
I would love to talk about Texas A&M, actually. Adidas sponsored.
Oh, really? I'm going to have to pick up a jersey because Texas A&M is looking really good, y'all. But before we talk about this season, let's talk about last season. What was that, y'all? 10-3 versus CFP, Texas A&M, and they lose 10-3 to Miami in an absolute stinker. Mm-hmm. One of I think maybe the worst college football game.
Probably
of the
one
season.
Of the worst college football playoff games.
Unless you were watching, I think Akron, Wyoming was 10-3.
So the 5 people that were watching Akron, Wyoming.
I was one of the 5. It was a Friday game in week 1, so it was I didn't really have, there was some stuff going on, and I had multiple screens. I'm
fair enough.
I can fit in Akron and Wyoming.
Fit in Akron and Wyoming, I guess.
Big news, Marcel Reed is back. He is the second best quarterback in college football right now behind Trinidad Chambliss. Maybe, I wrote that down a while ago. I think he's top 10, but that he just has
subject to change. Basically,
he just has that ability to just stink it up. Mm-hmm. So I'd probably put Mensa in that position at this point, in second place. But I liked Marcel Reed. At the end of the season last year, I put him at third, and of course Pavia was second. Trinidad was 1. So that's why I said second best college football quarterback. Maybe not. Maybe so.
Who knows?
Mario Craver, who led the team in receiving yards in the playoff game, returns at the wide receiver 1. A former Hurricane and Crimson Tide member in Isaiah Horton transfers in alongside tight end Houston Thomas from UTSA. I'm really liking the wide receivers. I'm really, really liking them. Ruben Owens will lead the Aggies running back room after impressing since taking over for Le'Veon Moss last year. It's going to be a top 10 offense in the country. The gun line is a concern, but they retooled with SEC talent from the portal.
Obviously Marcel Reed, one of the better quarterbacks in all of college football. There's no question about it, honestly. Mm-hmm. But 10-3 is obviously it's not going to look good at all. Mm-hmm. Definitely going to be bulletin board material for them for the season, which is a good thing. It's motivation to get back, but not be a 10-3.
There's three things on the bulletin board heading into the season for Marcel Reed. The first after the South Carolina game, the Texas game,
10-3,
and 10-3.
Which they're really good motivation if you use them correctly. So
yes,
Marcel Reed could be dark horse.
He could be black.
He could be a dark horse for the Heisman. You never know. Obviously, Ruben Owens leading his running back room. He impressed throughout last season. And then his backup's going to be Jamarian Morrow. Didn't have a whole lot going on, but he could be a serviceable backup. Obviously, I love this wide receiver room, honestly, as well. Bring in Alabama transfer Isaiah Horton. Heck of a season last year, given the fact that obviously he was not buried on the depth chart, but he was in that weird middle phase.
Yeah.
Then they bring back Mario Craver. Heck of a player, led in the playoff game for receiving yards. And then they bring in Houston Thomas from UTSA, obviously. He has been very productive for UTSA. He was very productive last year, and he's looking to kind of build off of that, as I've said 30 times now. Now in the SEC, though, instead of wherever UTSA is going.
The American.
Well, yeah, but I meant their opponents.
Yeah. Defense. One of the best and most layered pass rushes in the conference. It's going to be talked about a lot. Ray Coney, big get from Tulsa at linebacker. Why not? I mean,
have at it.
You don't get a whole lot of talent from Tulsa. I think Ray Coney was probably the best player on that team last year. He needs a surrounding cast at that level, and that's kind of uncertain at the moment. The secondary has plenty of talented guys vying for position. That's a deep group with plenty of talent. I mean, gosh, there's not a whole lot to hate about Texas A&M this year. I mean, as long as they make the playoffs and Marcel Reed just doesn't have one of those stinkers, they could win the Natty. They could win their first Natty since Natties were really played. Because I think their last Natty was in the 1930s or 1950s when they weren't playing national championship games.
Their last national championship was 1939.
So, for as good as they've been at football, I think that this could be the year that they finally break out. 11-1, 8-1 the SEC. Their only losses that early went to Kentucky. I hope they get it out of the way early.
I have Texas A&M 11-1, 8-1 the SEC. They have been beating Kentucky. Obviously, their loss came against Texas. Like I said, I was very in between on that game. Even when I was looking at Texas A&M's schedule, I looked at that game for probably 5 minutes, just really going back and forth, thinking, who do I want to win it? Because now we know that whoever won that game for me was going to the SEC championship against Georgia. So it would have been huge. It was a big pick. It was very important for me.
That'll be just a massive game.
It's going to be one of the best games we have
in the regular season, at least.
Yeah.
We'll close it out with some Vandy. You hear the resignation in my voice. Obviously, back-to-back SEC Coach of the Year Clark Lee returns yet again, but now he doesn't have his wonder kid Diego Pavia. At quarterback, Jared Curtis. True freshman, very rarely start in the SEC, like I said. This seems to me more like a long-term investment rather than a year-one commit. He was impressive in the spring game, but made some freshman errors. I can see a tier below CJ Carr performance from him this year.
I mean, that's still good.
Yeah, it's still really good. I think he is a good talent, of course, the number one recruit or whatever. But Vandy's identity last year was slow, methodical drives, and I think that Curtis can succeed at that 70% of the time, but freshman mistakes will probably cost his team a couple of games. Offensive side, when tasked with replacing Eli Stowers, another huge part of that offense last year, they grabbed a former Commodore, now at Ball State. They had a former Commodore, then went to Ball State, then came back to Vandy in Walter Taylor III. This adds a whole new layer to last year's Ball State quarterback room because apparently not only was their starting quarterback a former defensive back, it seems like they also had a future tight end in that room too. So they had one quarterback. Fun little wrinkle there. He didn't really get any play at Ball State, so I'm very interested to see what they're thinking there. Getting Walter Taylor back. Wide receiver isn't really notable outside an intriguing Bama transfer in Cole Adams. Yeah.
Obviously Jared Curtis looking to be QB1. True freshman. Good luck to him in the SEC. Obviously, a step below CJ Carr isn't the worst thing, but I mean he's gonna have those freshman errors, regardless. But Cedric Alexander looks to be running back 1 this year, so I mean he didn't do too bad given the fact that he was a backup last year. So I mean, as long as
Cedric Alexander backup, I thought he was the starter.
Well, that wouldn't be good then because he only had 576 yards.
Let's see.
So I hope he was a backup.
Cedric Alexander. Oh, wait, that's the wrestler. Hold on.
I hope he was a backup because he had 576 yards.
Vandy, RB1, 2025. Looks like Cedric Alexander was the RB1.
Well, never mind. He's looking to have a step up then from his...
I think they just passed the ball a bajillion times with Pavia. I think that was the problem.
Which was probably the problem.
And Pavia was probably running the ball, too. I don't know.
Probably. Anyway, he's looking to step up. That wide receiver room, Junior Sherrill, last year had 804 yards, 7 touchdowns. They bring in Ja'Cory Thomas from Old Dominion, that ODU guy I was telling you about earlier in the week.
There you go.
He had 717 yards and 5 touchdowns in a very run-heavy offense with Colton Joseph last year, which, ooh boy, I can't wait to get to the Big Ten.
Well, the last team we ever talked, well, not ever talked about, but last team we talked about in terms of previews.
And their tight end one looks to be a 6'7" behemoth of a man in Cole Spence, who had 15 catches for 233 yards last year and 2 touchdowns. 6'7". I said the funny word.
Everyone clap and comment 6'7". Defense, I'm not going to say a whole lot. Vandy's number 1 transfer was safety Ricardo Jones. He'll bring an anchor to the worst SEC pass defense last year and a low-ranking INT defense. They also bring in Texas A&M's Kobe Sellers to beef up that secondary. They grabbed linemen from Iowa and LSU and Brian Allen Jr. and C.J. Jackson to fill needs in the pass rush. So, a couple notable transfers. It makes a solid defense, but it's a freshman quarterback. I can't have them go into a bowl game, so I'm going 5-7 for Vanderbilt, 2-7 in the SEC, with wins against Austin Peay, Delaware, NC State, big losing streak. Then they beat Bama again, because that's just the Vandy way, and then they beat Tennessee at home once again. In those kind of, I don't know, is Bama turning into a rivalry game just because of that one game?
I think it might just turn into a rivalry game just because of that one game.
So Vandy, locks in for those rivalry games. Maybe Jared Curtis cares.
Yeah, I have Vanderbilt going 5-7, 2-7 in the SEC. We don't have that. We bounce a bit back and forth between games ish. They win all their non-conference games against Austin Peay, Delaware, and NC State. They go on a bit of a losing streak for 3 games. Then they'll beat Arkansas, which you don't have. Mm-hmm. And then they beat Tennessee to end the season.
So we just flipped on the Alabama and the Arkansas games.
Yeah, so we just flipped those games. But overall, same record, same conference record.
All right, we'll go down the board here and then do SEC championship game picks, and then we'll move on with our lives. So the SEC. For a tie for 15th, I have Tennessee and Mizzou, 2-10, 0-9 in the conference. 14th, I have LSU, 4-8, 1-8 in the conference. For a tie for 11th, I have Alabama, Vandy, and Florida, 4-8, 5-7, 4-8, 2-7 in the conference. Tie for 9th, I have Mississippi State and South Carolina, 6-6, 7-5, 4-5 in the conference. Tie for 7th, I have Oklahoma and Arkansas, 8-4, 5-4 in the conference. Tied for 5th, I have Ole Miss and Auburn, 10-2, 7-2 in the conference. And a tie for 2nd, 3-way tie, at 11-1, 8-1 in the conference. I have Kentucky, Texas A&M, and Texas. But it goes down to, I believe, the cumulative win-loss record of the teams they faced.
Probably.
And Texas A&M has a very tough schedule this year. So, because of that, Texas A&M gets the edge. They beat the worst team, or they beat the better teams. They will go on to play an undefeated Georgia in the SEC championship. It is very difficult to beat a tough team twice. Mm-hmm. But Georgia doesn't. Georgia beats Texas A&M, goes 13-0, and locks up that number 1 spot in the college football playoff. Other teams receiving that designation as college football playoff teams, there will be 5 SEC teams in the college football playoffs. Georgia, Texas A&M, Texas, Kentucky, and Ole Miss.
I agree with literally everything other than Kentucky being that high, but you know what?
And Arkansas. You don't agree with Arkansas?
Yeah, I don't agree with Arkansas at all. We'll get to that though. Right now, I have a tie for 15. They both go 1-8 in conference play. However, Missouri edges out Arkansas. They go 3-9 overall. Arkansas is the bottom of the SEC at 4-8. It's not a 2-win team at least. I have a 3-way tie for 12th in the conference, all 2-7 in conference play. Mississippi State 4-8 in conference play. Vanderbilt 5-7. Tennessee 4-8. whole lot of tiebreakers that I'm not trying to dive into right there. Tied for 10th, Florida and Auburn 3-6 in conference play. Florida 5-7, Auburn 6-6. I'm just going to assume that I had Florida beating Auburn.
Okay.
Because that's what it looks like. I have Kentucky alone at 9th at 4-5 in conference play, 7-5 overall. I have a three-way tie for 6th place at 5-4 in conference play. Oklahoma and South Carolina actually tie in record as well at 8-4 overall. But Oklahoma takes the game against South Carolina, I believe. And Alabama, 5-4, 7-5, with that last place technically tied 6th. I have LSU alone at 5th, 6-3 overall, 9-3 in conference play. Ole Miss alone at 4, 7-2, 10-2 conference play. Or 7-2 conference play, 10-2 overall. Texas A&M barely missing out on the SEC championship. 8-1 conference play, 11-1 overall. My conference championship is undefeated Georgia versus undefeated Texas. Like you said, it is very hard to beat a good team twice.
But they don't match up in the regular season.
But they don't match up in the regular season, which is the best part.
Mm-hmm.
So we will get the best championship game, honestly, in my opinion.
I'd love to see 2 12-0 teams go at it.
Between Georgia and Texas.
That's possible.
I have Georgia going 13-0, though, locking up the number 1 seed in college football playoff. I haven't made my little thing yet for the college football playoff, but if I had to do it right now, I'd have Georgia, Texas A&M, and Ole Miss in the college football playoff, with LSU maybe on the bubble, honestly, at a 9-3 record.
I don't know when we'll do our college football playoff and Heisman stuff, our picks for those two things, but it might be next week, it might be 2 weeks from now.
We'll be sure to get to it.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, we will.
Just like
maybe 2 weeks from now when we have a little bit less of a workload, it'll just be 10 games to preview rather than 10 teams or 16 teams or 18 teams. All right. Let's talk about the BMW Championship.
I'd love to talk BMW.
I'll start with my number 5 here. Cam Young, plus 290. We are in the second to last event of the season. For this course, 4 things are necessary that I could identify. Be good, be a long driver of the golf ball, putt good, and be good at your long approach shots. Cam Young is still an elite player, does these fairly well. Been kind of on and off for him this season. I hope he can turn it on here at Bellerive.
Hold on, sorry. What's the course we're at?
Bellerive Country Club. We haven't played here since 2018.
This is true, Bellerive, and then BMW. Because I went purely off of vibes again, which, I mean, probably didn't end up too bad. My number 5 is going to be Siwoo Kim. I didn't write down the odds for that. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
He got second last... Is this last week already?
Yeah.
Yeah, last week at the FedEx St. Jude Championship. He got second. He's been all right this season. He's kind of slowed down a bit in production. However, at the BMW, he got T5 in 2024. No reason that he doesn't sneak into the top 5 once again. So Siwoo Kim at number 5.
All right, I'm just writing this down here. 395. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that just great? My number 4 is going to be Sam Burns once again. He might have been 3 last week. I don't know. He was in my top 5 last week. Great showing. On an absolute heater. Another course where putting is magnified. Give me Burns as a choker. He's probably going to be the round 3 leader and then choke it and still get top 5 one.
Yeah, my number 4 is going to be Matty Fitzpatrick. Yeah, Matt Fitzpatrick, my number 4. Obviously, didn't have the best weekend at the FedEx St. Jude. Still in the top 20. Good for him. Got T3 at the Genesis, 4th at the Travelers, 2nd RBC. He has 3 wins since March. So, overall, not too bad. He's been here a handful of times. His best result here being T2. So he's definitely got top 5 potential. T2 came in 2023. However, in 2024, he got T28. 2025, he got T17. He has improved. He's my number 4 pick.
My number 3 is going to be Ludwig Oberg, plus 270. He's been knocking on the door of some top 5s, hasn't broken through recently. He's still been so good, and I'd be hard-pressed not to take him here. I'm a Ludwig guy. Not much to say. Just, like I said, he does all the things that I talked about earlier pretty well.
My number 3, this may actually be a shocker somehow. It's going to be Rory at number 3. So he's not in the top 2 per usual.
Yeah.
Last week, not a good week at all. He got 66 at FedEx St. Jude. He's been to BMW since 2010, so good on him, I guess. He's gotten a ton of results. He won in 2012. He's been all over the board here. He's been more consistent. He got 4th in 2023, 11th in 2024, and 12th in 2025. I think he sneaks back into the top 5, but he hasn't won here since 2012. So I think he gets number 3.
My number 2 will be Scotty Scheffler, minus 166. My prediction from last week is still live. He could still win all 3 of the playoff tournaments and just take it all by 1 trillion points. But I'm still going to take it safe pick here with the top 5.
Fair enough. I'm going to have Sam Burns at my number 2.
All right.
Like you said, he had a very good week last week leading him to round 3. But obviously, Scotty Scheffler was just having a phenomenal weekend. Yeah. So, got T3 there. He got 3rd at the Open Championship, though. So this guy, and he got 2nd at the U.S. Open. He has been very consistent recently. Dating back to the Memorial, which is back in June, he has not placed in the top 5 twice. It was at the RBC Canadian where he placed T20 and Travelers where he placed T12.
Yeah, it's insane.
He's a lock for the top 20.
Yeah.
He has been in the top 5 4 times in the last 6 tournaments. So I feel more than confident putting him at 2nd, which is probably really scary for anybody who wants to bet on Sam Burns.
The Memorial was before the U.S. Open, by the way. Well, that's how long that goes back. That's 2 majors away, or 2 majors ago.
This is 2 months ago as well.
Yeah. My number 1 is going to be Rory McIlroy, plus 1,300. He's the only guy on my board to play rounds here at Bellerive. Sorry, my goodness. Ugh. I'm all over my notes, y'all. He played here in the 2018 U.S. Open, which is the last time the tour came here. He got T50, but his approach game was way off. And while he had a bad performance last week, his approach game actually improved from his prior tournaments. So maybe he's working on that. Also, just remember that last year he didn't even play this tournament, even though he was in the playoffs. I assume he was just there to get paid. I think this is a sleeper bounce back spot for him.
My number 1, winner from last week, Scotty Scheffler. Obviously, he killed the field in the FedEx St. Jude, so good for him. He has been actually really consistent since the Masters on getting 2nd place.
Yes.
But I feel like, especially after his performance last week, there's no reason why betting him to win would be the wrong choice. He won last year, and he's gotten T2 here. He got T2 here in 2023, T3 in 2022. He's also the best golfer in the world, in case you guys were wondering. Yeah. But yeah, Scotty Scheffler, number 1.
Last place pick. Mine isn't near the bottom of the odds board this week. Mine's honestly near the middle. It's Sung J M. He's not a terribly long driver of the golf ball. He struggles with long approach shots. He doesn't really separate himself from the field on par 4s. Sure, he has 4 top 15s in his last 5, but a miscut is also in there. It's just not a good course fit, and he could really just drop off here, I think.
I'm changing my last place pick last minute.
Oh, is it not Matt McCarty anymore?
It was not Matt McCarty to begin with. It was actually Sepp Straka to begin with, but now it is going to be Eric Cole.
Okay.
He's been to the BMW twice. He has not been to, pronounce the name for me, please, of the course.
Oh, Bellerive.
He got T25 and T46 at the BMW in 2023 and 2024. However, since the Canadian Open, which is right after the Memorial, he has missed a cut twice.
Bellerive. That's my bad.
And he has not placed in the top... He's placed in the top 30 only once. Last week, T58, so better than McIlroy. But in his last 25 starts, he has missed the cut a not good amount of times, honestly. He's missed the cut probably a fifth or more of the tournament, so probably 5 times at least over the last couple of tournaments. I mean, obviously this field isn't the worst at all, so it's kind of hard to bet on last place, but that's just what I feel confident with.
Like, none of these guys are last place picks anywhere else. So, like, my last place pick next week is going to be like Tommy Fleetwood or something. So, I know you've been just jonesing to talk about F1 for just the longest time now.
We still have to do an oddball.
We still have to do an oddball.
Oh, I was just trying to crack my back. But you're right.
My oddball is going to be Alex Smalley and Justin Rose tying in round 1 at plus 750. They are two very extremely similar players in terms of archetype, so I could totally see them just tying here.
So now you have a reason to watch round 1.
And I need points. Yeah.
Well, I'm happy to be in third place again, so I'm not looking for as much points. Given the fact that the last time I was third place was when I joined golf.
When you joined the podcast.
When I joined the podcast. But I'm going with a very fun pick, similar to yours from last week. Russell Henley, hole 3, round 1, birdie or better. At plus 305.
Round 1,
birdie or better.
Or better.
At plus 305.
Plus 305. All right.
So now I got to keep my eyes on Russell Henley in round 1 on hole 3.
I think he tees off relatively early, so you got to be a morning riser.
Well, I usually am.
Isn't that peachy? Dutch Grand Prix.
This is true. Dodge
Grand Prix. Dodge is finally is in F1.
Dutch Grand Prix, home race for Max Verstappen, 4-time world champion. That's really all I'm going to say about that. It is a 72-lap race, so obviously really quick to get around. They started racing here in 1952, long time ago, but there's a lot of F1 news, actually, instead of just the race.
Instead of the weather?
Yeah, instead of the weather, which it might actually rain, but I'll get to that.
I think you say that every week.
Okay, well, quiet.
And to be fair, it has rained.
It has actually rained, probably once. Anyway, Alex Albon and Carlos Sainz renewed their contracts with Williams, so Williams has locked down their drivers for next year, which I took a look at what the grid looked like next year. A whole lot of empty seats.
Okay.
So, believe it or not, it'll be fun. I thought Sainz was going to go to Audi. I was going to be happy for that, but you know what? He sounded confident, saying he's fine with Williams, so I will hope that I hope that Williams has a late season resurgence just like last year when he was on the podium in Baku. Anyway, on top of more F1 news, Isaac Hadjar is not racing this weekend because of a wrist injury where apparently, and I saw this before, he was boxing, and that's why he broke his hand.
Because F1 drivers are always boxing, and they're... Yeah, I'm hating on him for having hobbies. That's so mean.
To fill in for his empty Red Bull seat is going to be Liam Lawson, the guy who was sacked for Yuki Tsunoda, who's going to be at Racing Bulls this weekend. Yuki Tsunoda, on the other hand, though, the day before this was announced, said he wouldn't mind going to race an IndyCar.
Okay.
That's really all that's going on in F1.
I'm going to flip. It's not going to be a huge change.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There we go. I just moved him down one. You'll see why. 22. Are we good?
Yeah, I'm
okay.
done now.
22, Valtteri Bottas. 21, Lance Stroll. 20, Checo Perez. 19, Albon. 18, Alonso.
Okay.
17, Behrman. 16, Carlos Sainz. 15, Ocon. 14, Colapinto. 13, Bortoleto. 12, Lindblad. 11, Hulkenberg. Pierre Gasly gets in the points.
Woo!
10th. Yuki Maipuki gets in the points if he's eligible.
He is eligible to get in the points. It was the same thing with Jack Doohan last year, and then Franco Colapinto stepped in.
So he'll get P9 because Yuki Tsunoda is still a talented driver. Liam Lawson will, of course, finish ahead of him in P8. And then we get to the top 7. That's just worlds ahead of everyone else. Oscar Piastri will be P7. Russell Racing has a bad day, gets P6. Lando gets P5. Charles Leclerc gets P4. Kimi gets a podium, but only bronze, P3. Max Verstappen is unable to break through in his home race against Lewis Hamilton at number 1.
Sorry, I'm making a change to mine right now as well.
Okay.
Not towards the bottom, don't worry. 22, Bottas. 21, Perez. 20, Ocon.
Oh.
Yeah, I just don't think he's a good weekend.
Man, he's going to get, destroyed after this season, or after this race.
I'm sure he will. Yuki at 19, obviously, I mean, he's filling in for a seat. He's just been doing donuts in cars for, the last couple of months. Anyway, Franco Colapinto at 18, yeah. Lance Stroll at 17.
Whoa, that's high.
Fernando Alonso at 16. Alex Albon at 15. Carlos Sainz at 14. Gabby Bortoleto, 13. 12. Lindblad. 11. Nico Hülkenberg. To round out the top 10, it's going to be Liam Lawson in the points with Racing Bulls again.
Okay.
Number 9 is Pierre Gasly, so he gets back there in the Alpine. Ollie Behrman gets P8. Way higher than he usually has been doing. And then the top 7, which is worlds ahead of everybody else. Yep. Lando Norris finishes in the back of the front at 7. Lewis Hamilton does not have a good weekend, so he finishes P6. Oscar Piastri at P5. Charles Leclerc barely misses out on a podium. It's going to be a Ferrari strategy that kills him. Gets P4. Russell Racing got to bronze. Max Verstappen barely misses out on the gold at his home race, at his final home race as well, because Zandvoort's no longer going to be on the calendar. But Kimi Antonelli starts off the second half of the season with a win. Whew.
That's a safe pick, honestly. I really never pick Kimi. But
I mean, to be fair, the top 7's also it'll get shuffled around, but it's by one position. So
yeah,
the top 7's almost a guarantee-ish in points somewhere in there.
Yeah, unless there's a wreck. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's note card time, isn't it?
It is.
Keep this under 2 hours unless you yap. Which honestly, looking at this note card, there's a very real possibility.
It is a very real possibility of some yap, but it's a lot of fun stuff as well. And we start with Terrion Arnold, which signed with Seattle at the beginning of this week of this 7-day period.
I was shocked.
And as of 2 days ago, he was put on the commissioner's exempt list for the NFL, so he can't play or anything or practice or anything, I believe. But he is still planning on signing with Seattle. Seattle is still planning on signing him. Let me check. Yeah, he's not able to play or practice. But Seattle still wants to sign him. So, how do you feel about that?
We had a lot of issues with the defensive backs last year in terms of on-the-field issues. I cannot imagine Terrion Arnold is going to fix anything.
Anyway, Steven Adams called it a career after 12 not too bad seasons, honestly. Yeah. The fact that he wasn't...
Aquaman.
Yeah, he was basically Aquaman. He was never in the spotlight too much.
Nope.
Never... Didn't do a whole lot, but also did enough.
Very serviceable.
Yeah, he was a very good player. So congrats to him on completing a illustrious career. James Pierce Jr. has an 8-game suspension, and let me see why, because I forgot to write that down. He got an 8-game suspension for violating the personal conduct policy. This was because he was arrested due to a domestic dispute with his now ex-girlfriend, Chicago Sky forward Rikea Jackson.
Right, I forgot it was an actual person that I know.
Well, everybody's people.
Well, okay, that I know, I said.
Anyway, Troy Aikman is going to have some restrictions when it comes to the Monday Night Football broadcasts due to his role in management for the Miami Dolphins.
Okay.
Can't say I'm surprised. Tom Brady has the same exact thing for Fox Sports.
Yes.
Kevin Garnett is finally having his number retired by the Timberwolves. So
yeah, very well deserved.
Very well deserved for
I'm surprised they did it on the... Did they retire his number on the Celtics?
I don't think so.
They've retired a lot of numbers. I wouldn't be surprised if they did it for the Celtics, but he definitely deserves it retired somewhere.
KG gets what he deserves from Minnesota. So congrats to him. DeMarcus Lawrence went out and said that this season will also be his final season in the NFL. So add that to the list of players who are more than likely done, which include the names Aaron Rodgers and Lane Johnson.
Yeah.
So add DeMarcus Lawrence to that list.
Jason, and maybe Jadeveon Clowney, unless he signs to yet another team on a 1-year deal.
Jason Kelsey is going to have he's going to be going to the Cincinnati Hall of Fame.
Just like the city of Cincinnati?
No, like the
Cincinnati
University
Sports?
of Cincinnati, football. He's going to their Hall of Fame. He walked on at Cincinnati, went on to win a Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles. Shows what you can do as a walk-on.
Yeah, Jason Kelsey, of course. My favorite of the Kelsey brothers, of course.
Yeah, my favorite out of the both.
It used to be Travis because he's been my fantasy tight end for forever. I picked him this year in one of my 2 leagues, but
anyway, Keanu Benton signed a 4-year, $72 million extension with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Not too shabby.
Does that make him the highest paid?
He is not a highest paid player. We don't have any of those.
Oh, really?
I'm kidding. Because we get to Spoon! He becomes the highest paid DB in NFL history, $132 million, 4-year contract with the Seattle Seahawks.
Cannot express enough how much he deserves that much.
As soon as I saw the notification, I immediately just texted you Spoon.
Yep.
Could not be happier for you.
Yes.
Great extension
Lock
for Spoon.
Lock him up.
Let's add this to the list of players, not in the NFL, but overall. Ronaldo said that this is possibly his final season in soccer.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's in the GOAT debates. I still think Messi's he's gonna go down as the GOAT, but Ronaldo's really close to him, and for good reason. He's one of the best players we will ever see, in my opinion, in soccer. Heck of a career, heck of a guy. Congratulations to him. Mm-hmm. Tommy John unfortunately passed away at the age of 83. Obviously, he's more known today for
life-changing surgery.
For life-changing surgery.
Yeah. Career
Tommy John
surgery. Yeah.
But he had a really good career at the time he played. So, may he rest in peace. But as we move on, Von Miller signed I believe it was a 1-year deal of the veteran minimum with the Dallas Cowboys. So there's ring chasing, and then there's just going to the team that has the name, I guess.
Yeah, there's just playing for the sake of it. Just for the love of the game.
Yeah, just for the love of the game. The NBA did not find any evidence that Steve Ballmer was funneling any money to Kawhi whatsoever through anything.
No evidence.
No evidence.
I couldn't find anything.
Not Helen Keller would have found evidence on Steve Ballmer doing this.
It's pretty.
Obviously, Kawhi's trade has been on hold because of this investigation.
Yep.
I'm assuming the trade will go forward sooner rather than later, given the fact that players will start reporting to camp within the next month and a half.
There's not going to go into the justice system all I want, but let's just keep politics out of this.
Yeah. Ketel Marte has been put on the restricted list of the MLB after being a no-show for the Diamondbacks' Monday game against the Boston Red Sox.
He was just exploring Boston, man. He was probably just having a great time.
He completely forgot he had baseball or something, I guess.
I gotta be at freaking Fenway. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. You spend half of your days in Arizona. And tell me you aren't exploring the heck out of Boston.
He definitely missed the team. He was running after the team bus and everything. Kyle Monungai is set to miss a couple of weeks due to a knee injury.
One of those great running backs at Rutgers. That's the only thing they're good for.
No idea what the extent of the injury is. As much as I don't like the Bears, I hope he's okay. Mm-hmm. Heck of a running back in the NFL. Also a fantasy back that not a lot of people really picked, regardless of the fact that he had a good season last year.
Yep.
Keenan Allen signed a 1-year deal with the Indianapolis Colts, totaling $8.32 million. So he looks like he's on the tail end of his career. He's ring chasing at this point too.
Unk still got it.
Which good for him to ring chase, honestly.
Man, I've been picking Keenan Allen in fantasy leagues for forever.
Mm-hmm. So I had to cross this off in the middle of the college football segment because I had originally thought Zaire Smith had signed a deal with the Browns. I was completely wrong.
You were completely wrong.
He signed a 1-year deal with the Atlanta Falcons.
Oh, okay.
Worth $8 million. I don't know what I forgot he was in the NFL at this point. He was good when he was in Green Bay, then he left Green Bay and sucked, so...
That's why you don't leave Green Bay.
That's why you don't leave Green Bay.
Unless your name's Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham. Tight end. Jimmy Graham.
Conor McGregor went out and posted that his last fight would be in 2027. He didn't give a date or anything, didn't give an opponent, but... That'd be funny.
That would be so good.
After the way his last fight ended, it's not surprising he's about to call it a career.
Yeah, I'm surprised he doesn't call it a career now. I guess he wants to go out on a one last hurrah instead of horrific.
Just blowing up his knee after one kick.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Juju Smith-Schuster was released by the New York Giants the other day.
Oh my god.
So we no longer have TikTok boy on the New York Giants.
We don't have
Odell.
Wait, what? Poo-poo? Shit poopster?
He's no longer
getting passes thrown by Jackson Fart? Dude, this sucks.
I guess I can talk about Penn State first. There was a Penn State fraternity found being a lead cocaine ring. Not surprised at all whatsoever.
Pablo Pledskabar.
This leads into the news, however. Hopefully not associated with Penn State. But Nick Kyrgios, a tennis player, was suspended from tennis due to testing positive for cocaine.
He is a mess. I'll tell you what, there is not a year I don't see Nick Kyrgios getting, something happens. There was this one week where I remember it was ESPN. This is, I think, the first time I'd ever heard of Nick Kyrgios. Yeah, I think he did really well in a doubles tournament. He was doing really well in doubles for Wimbledon or something like that. And it's like a video of him celebrating with his teammate, and then right under it on ESPN is Nick Kyrgios smashes racket due to a poor play. I'm like,
wow,
this guy is certainly a character. And then I think he had some sort of dispute with a woman. I don't know. Okay. I think he was the tennis player they picked for like the top 1,000 player against the number 1 tennis player in the women's. But he's probably better than top 1,000 or whatever he was. It's just because he hadn't. I don't know.
Alvin Kamara is going to be sidelined for the next 4 weeks or so. Hopefully, not much longer, due to a MCL sprain during training camp, or well, not training camp. Yes, during training camp. It is training camp season. Yeah, training camp.
Probably.
So sucks to suck, but the Saints are still sainting away.
Tennessee, bad week for the Tennessee Volunteers. We talked bad about them like 3 times. Because JPJ, also a Tennessee Volunteer, Jay Pierce Jr.
Yeah, not a. Anyway, on the topic of injuries, Jaden Higgins, a Texans receiver, is done. He tore his ACL, so he's done for the year.
If you're a big fan of Iowa State wide receivers on the Houston Texans, don't worry. Jalen Noel is still there.
Yeah, and... Sorry, excuse me. That was bound to happen after 2 hours.
Yeah.
Pat McAfee is set to be a part of the Monday Night Football broadcast. So we're about to have an ESPN full of Pat McAfees all over the place.
Pat
McAfee Show, followed by Pat McAfee Center, followed by Pat McAfee Today, followed by Monday Night Pat McAfee.
And then game day.
Oh yeah, and then Saturday Night Live with Pat McAfee.
Yeah.
That is it. That's all just from the note card, but obviously I had a lot of stuff going on. After I'd written the note card, let me just get to it. The Jacksonville Jaguars traded for Daniel Montgomery-Falele. They sent a 2027 late round pick. Wow.
Yeah. So the Jaguars need O-linemen. Clearly, their standards are just so low.
Watch him have like an all-pro season.
You could have literally signed a free agent. There is someone out there. There's a big, meaty boy out there. Is EDP out of jail?
Well, I have no idea. Well, he is big and meaty if you look at that picture of him. That just looks like it's taken from Madden.
Maybe it is.
Anyway, Trayvon Diggs signed a 1-year deal with the Seattle Seahawks. Woo! More than likely to address the fact that Terrion Arnold
has literally dead cap space being wasted away on Terrion Arnold right now.
It's okay. It's like a couple million. Well, I say a couple million, but
that could change my life. Yeah.
Dallas Wings basketball player, because I don't know her position. Izzy Fudd is going to miss the remainder of the season. She's going to undergo an arthroscopic procedure on her knee because she's had ongoing knee soreness. So, best wishes.
Best wishes to Azzy Fudd.
Mm-hmm.
Been a breakout player this year as far as I'm concerned. I've heard her name a couple of times.
I've seen her name in like some headlines.
Yeah, like I don't watch the WNBA. I'm not ashamed of it. It's just not a product I like watching. And there's nothing wrong if you like women's sports. It's just not for me. I just don't think it's a good product. But yes, they're still human beings at the end of the day. And best wishes.
Vita Vea, who requested trade a couple of weeks ago.
Right, it was on the note card.
Middle of the podcast, signed a 1-year extension with the Buccaneers for $30 million.
All right, great. Get your bag,
so
I guess.
He went to go. I mean, he's a heck of a player.
Yes.
So he deserves every bit of that $30 million, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So good for him. And to round out the rest of sports, note card part of the note card, Max Verstappen has reportedly been offered a 5-year contract by Red Bull. And it has no exit clause, so it would effectively tie him down at Red Bull for the probably rest of his career, honestly, because he's been in F1 for a while now. It's been 10 years.
Yep.
And we get to the MLB, where I'm changing things up because it's almost September, which means leaves are going to start falling, and playoff balls are going to be also falling.
Yeah.
But as
hopefully in fair territory, not foul.
Mm-hmm. We go to the playoffs for the AL. Obviously, the Rays, top of the AL. The White Sox, heck of a team at second of the AL, so that they both get the bye. Then you have the Astros at an even 500 at the 3 seed. The Yankees, which the only reason they're not above the Astros is because they're not winning their division. They're 70-55. They're years better than the Astros. I digress. Then you have the Red Sox at 5. You have the Twins and the Rangers tied percentage-wise for that 6 and the 7 seed. And so, I mean, both teams gunning out for that final wild card spot currently. Then you have the Blue Jays, Guardians, and Orioles, and Tigers, all teams that are at most 1.5 games back of that 6th wild card spot.
Orioles just won a series against the Rays, making a late season push even without Adley Rutschman. Although he was still injured, we were still playing without him anyways, but it doesn't matter. Revitalized team. Come on, O's, make the playoffs, even though you definitely shouldn't be a playoff team.
We go to the NL, where you have the best team in the MLB still, the Milwaukee Brewers. Only team in the NL over 600, actually, so kudos to them. Looking to be the first team to 80 wins. They beat the Mariners 22-0 last night. I was really happy.
Belt. Absolutely belt.
It was the largest margin of win since the modern era began in 1900.
For real?
It tied the longest, it tied the record at 22 runs.
Holy smokes, I thought it would have been more than that, but 22 runs is still a lot.
The Dodgers are the 2nd seed currently at 76 and 51. The Braves are right behind them at 74 and 53 with a 3. The Cubs are 74-54 with a 4 seed. Phillies 69 and 58 with a 5. Padres 68 and 60 with the 6 seed. And really the only 2 teams that I can see maybe having a chance for that 6th wildcard spot right now are the Diamondbacks and Cardinals. Diamondbacks are 1 game back. The Cardinals are 2.5 games back. So the NL looks a bit more squared away than the AL, where you have 5 teams fighting for 1 spot.
Yeah.
And that really concludes it.
All right. We just made it to above 2 hours. How did this take less time than the ACC? By such a large margin, even with F1 and an extended note card segment? I don't know. But we hope you all enjoyed if you made it this far. I guess, Oscar, do you want to close it out this week? I feel like I've been closing it out a lot recently because we have no Josh.
Let me try thinking of something.
Okay, remember, it's got to be like a triplet or whatever, yeah.
It's almost the fall. We didn't talk about LaMelo Ball.
But we can't cover it all.
Oh, and also, guess who's injured? Breece Hall.